The world's most dangerous video. Dr. Dre and Eazy E beef. I mean, Eazy been dead for about 16, 17 years. Might be longer than that. But anyway, let's talk about the beef. What year is it? 2015? It's 20 years. It's the 20 years since he's been gone. So this is the 20 year after Eazy, we dropped this video. How wild is that? But let's take you to the beginning. The world's most dangerous group. Dre and Eazy was like boys. They were the closest ones in the crew. Dre and Eazy. No matter what, he's my boy Dre, you know what I'm saying? He always was with Dre and wanted to put Dre in there and get him there because Dre was the one who was the DJ. He was the one he needed with the beats to come up and do the producing. Dre was the guy he needed. Eazy had the money. So, right away, when they got into this, Eazy was like, man, you know, it's me, Dre, Ren, Cube, you know, but Dre was his guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my homie, Dre. You know, when he got him from World Class Wrecking Crew, you know, Dre was his man. Like, they put shows together. They had the Wet and Wild bikini contest. You know, every year they just get up and throw a party and just kick it. And it was all good on the outskirts. Now, Suge Knight was Eazy-E's bodyguard at the time. And what people don't know about Suge Knight is Suge is business smart. He's street smart, but he also business smart. And he peeping the situation and what's going on with Eazy E, Jerry Heller, and by him being the bodyguard, he's around a lot of the meetings. So he's able to hear and pick up on what's going on as far as the company and the structure. And he was like, man, Dre, you know what? You can start your own company. You know, Suge, you know, with his street savvy and everything else, you know, you will have the protection, you know, and, you know, we got the money put up, you know, ain't no thing. We'll get the money. So, you want to start that label, you know, we can go ahead and do that. So, wait. What happened was, everything was peaches and cream until the Niggas for Life album came out. The Nigga for Life album came out and did like 3 million records. Like, once that came out and did like 3 million records, they was in the middle of working on Ren's album, Life Sentence. And Dre had produced a couple of songs already on the album. And they was waiting on Dre to finish, you know, doing his stuff. You know, Ren is like, man, I've been trying to hit Dre up and, you know, Dre ain't, you know, picking up the phone or whatever. He's supposed to be at the studio. He's like, man, I ain't coming in today. Nah, I ain't gonna do the studio, man. I ain't in the mood to, you know, drop that. It ain't right. I'm gonna fix it. But in the meantime, Dre is positioning himself to leave because Eazy-E, Ren, Dre, and them, they all had like one big bank account. That wasn't a lie. When Ice Cube put that in the song, they had the same lawyer, and they all had their money in one big account. Now, it was some type of fun. Eazy had another account, but this was like the one he had with the NWA, the group, whatever, they getting interest on the money, whatever. Some type of program they had where they had all their money vested. So, what happened was the lawyer tells Eazy, like, hey, your boy Dre just took out a lot of money. Like, I don't think he took, I think he took more than what he was supposed to take out the bank account. So Eazy E's like, what? So he's trying to call Dre and he can't get Dre on the phone. And Dre was like, oh yeah, man, I went there and I'm in the studio. And he was at, he had Daz with him and he had Snoop. So they came to the studio, saw Ren and all of them up in there, and he kicked it. You know, was like, all right, man, let's do these songs, man. Let's go ahead and knock these songs out. But the only time, well, the whole time they were there, they was like Snoop and them was in the studio. They was in there taking some of the masters for some songs and taking paperwork, which he had went and gave to Suge Knight to look over some paperwork to see, like, man, look at my contract, see how can I get out this deal. So the only way, the way Dre deal was structured, he couldn't go nowhere, and he was salty. And the reason why he wanted to leave is because Eazy E was getting paid 80 cents off every record sold. Eazy E gets 80 cents. And that's just off the records. Jerry Heller, who came on as became the manager, he's getting like 10 cents a record. Dr. Dre gets like 5 cents off every record that's made. And he thought, man, I'm finna be a millionaire. And he's like, man, I get 5 cents a record. Jerry Heller's getting more than me, and I produced the record. Where's my, producer credits and all that? When is all that finna kick in on for me? But he looking at the way his contract is structured and seeing that he's getting paid peanuts because of an agreement he signed, because he didn't know nothing about the business. And then once he learned, like, man, he was supposed to get this much money and that much money if he knew what he was doing and didn't sign the contract that he signed, and then signed on this the extension, which he was executive producer too. They had an extension that made Dr. Dre an executive producer. So when he left, and they got them to extort Eazy E out of the deal, it was a salty way he left. It was the way Dre left that left a lot of people salty. And he called Ren before he left, and it was like, Ren, I'm just letting you know, I'm gone. He's like, what? Man, I told you, man, things weren't right. You know, I had to get my head clear, but I'm already gone. He was like, you left NWA? Yeah, man, I'm gone, man. Man, you can come with me. I already got my release. I'm gone. And he called Ren at like midnight. Like midnight, almost 1 in the morning. You know, like, I'm gone, man. And you need to shake the spot too, man. Man, I got you. Come on over here, man, to Death Row, and I got you. Because your paper ain't right either. And once he said that, Ren started thinking, like, you know what? Maybe I ain't rich. You know, Eazy getting all the money. We ain't getting all the money. Eazy getting all the money. Look at what I'm getting, and look at what me and you getting, and look at what Eazy getting. Eazy getting all this. Man, we ain't getting that. We writing the rhymes. We producing the beats. So he working on Ren to try to get Ren to lead. And then Eazy find all that out, because he told Ren, he was Ren, if you released an album without Eazy E, without NWA, without all this, what would your career be? Where you at now, Ren? You in the big gigantic house. What car you got, Ren? You know, he's like, your situation is good. You gonna be good forever. He's like, when people are unloyal, Ren, this is what they do. They want, if there's something ain't a certain way for them, they just want to stab somebody in the back and leave. Now, Eazy E was willing to let Dre go if they could work out a business deal negotiation. Was they trying to extort Eazy E, threatening him with, talking about, we know where your mama live, we'll come over there and hurt your mama and all that stuff. Now you done made it personal. Now you got disrespectful. So now, what Eazy E and Ruthless Records and Jerry Heller and all of them, because Jerry Heller even got robbed. Somebody broke in his house and stole his safe. Stole stuff that was in there and everything out of his crib. So he called the JDL, the Jewish Defense League. And when, they don't play. That's like the Jewish mafia. They was on the Ruthless Records salary payroll. The Israeli troops as security. They coming down and they policing it, buddy. Believe you me. They policing all of it. They flying down on everybody. Hey, what y'all doing over here? What you doing over here? So once they did that, it was time to negotiate. It's like, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about this Dr. Dre release. Y'all want to talk about the release? Let's do it now. So they set it up. Suge and all his representatives were there. And they had to go before a judge and go to court. And once they found out was Dr. Dre was in violation of the contract, and the way that it was signed was out of extortion. So, because it was criminally done, anything that Dr. Dre did, he took Eazy E along with him. So Eazy E was going to get paid royalties off the Chronic and future projects from Dr. Dre on Death Row. That means not just the Chronic, Doggy Style, anything that had Dr. Dre on it, Eazy E was going to get paid, and Ruthless Records. So that deal was negotiated. They won, and now Eazy E is not done, because now he's finna assault Death Row Records, because now he's upset. And Eazy E is not the guy you threaten. So here comes a verbal assault, and he's coming right at Dr. Dre, because the Chronic comes out and disrespects Eazy E off the bat. And that's when he put in the end of the song, "Bitches Ain't Shit," and he talking about Eazy. Now he's suing because the records he doing ain't. Yeah. Bitch can't hang with the streets. Found herself show. So now he taking me to court. So, yeah, he went over there and had to answer that back. He had the video, the Chronic sold 4 million records. It was a major deal for Dre and laying the foundation for Death Row Records. And it's Snoop being introduced out there as the new artist on the label. And they still trying to recruit Ren on the album. And they sitting there in the office, all of them, Eazy and all of them, and they was like, man, we finna destroy that. Because it was wartime with Eazy, but Ren was conflicted. Because Ren was like, well, my paper still ain't right. And, they kind of right. They like, what's up, Ren? Like, come on over here. But it was looking like at one point they wanted to have Ren. Then it was like, well, we really don't need you, Ren. But if you want to come on, you can come on. But now you're going to be like a worker. And that's something that didn't really, Ren didn't like that situation or what was going on over there. And plus, it was like, when it first started, it's your label, Dre. It's your label. You run the show. You handle all the talent. I'm going to handle all the business, just the contracts. You recruit the talent and you do the producing. I'm going to be in the background. That's how Suge them started. Suge was in the background. Then more and more you start to see the change at Death Row. Suge's in charge. You got to do what Suge say. You got to move when Suge say move. And Eazy E was letting it be known. Hey, Death Row, I hear you getting treated like boot camp. Gotta follow your sergeant's direction and get yourself popped with the Smith & Wesson. So, yeah, it was the truth. But you can't disrespect Eazy E in Compton and make the video like that Dre Day and then think Eazy E was gonna come back. And when Eazy E came back with real Compton City G's, it was over. Or real MF and G's, whatever one, with the Baby Gangsta and original Drayster. And he came with them dudes from Compton, and he was ready to go at Death Row. And it was on. And like they said, it's on. You heard on the radio show. They had the Ruthless radio show, which you could probably hear on YouTube. They had Daz and all of them up there, and they all called up there, and it was on. And he was, when you sell 1 million records, you come holler at us, talking to Eazy. And you know, Eazy always the businessman. Daz, do you have $1 million? do you have $1 million? Daz, Daz, have you ever made $1 million? Eazy E at one point, they were making at Ruthless Record almost $10 million a month. I'm serious. That's how much revenue they was bringing in. Ruthless Records made a lot of money, especially when they got the distribution deal with Relativity. I mean, Priority, he made them a lot of money. They didn't even have any money before they met Eazy E and Ruthless Records. That was the most successful company on their label. Then they got big-headed once they started getting all these other record companies coming in there. And then it was trying to treat Ruthless like, yeah, well, you can go. So he went and got a new distribution deal with Relativity, which opened a whole new door for him. But here's the situation. Dre is now starting to see, wait a minute, I'm not getting the money that I thought I was going to get. Wait a minute. I done sold this, where's my money? Now Dre realized, I'm getting messed over all over again. I'm not getting my money. And instead of warning Snoop and the rest of them, Dre breaks out of there. Once he realized, I've been bamboozled. Because that's what happened to him. He got bamboozled. He thought he was going to be in control. He thought he was in a partnership. He thought he was part owner. And what he found out is that I'm not an owner. Suge's running the show. Next thing you know, Suge's hiring the talent. Next thing you know, I'm just a producer again. I'm working on their clock. You couldn't have nothing unless Suge said you could have it. You back in the same box. You just ran from one box to another box. Welcome to business. Then of course Eazy gets sick. And at this time Eazy E was searching for talent elsewhere, trying to expand because he saw the music business was changing. And you know, people was going with more party and weed and all of this stuff. So he said, okay, that's the new thing now. You know, everybody's into the weed and getting high and all this, the weed smoke, the chronic and all this stuff and getting blazed. So he went out and searched out talent, and he heard these dudes, the booted out niggas every day. Boom. And he's like, oh man, you know, and then they start rapping and the way they was doing it, the style, he was like, now that's platinum. And once he heard him spit a verse, he just knew they was gonna sell a million records. Knew it. They didn't even know they was gonna sell a million records. He knew. He came to these colleges to meet these other Midwest rappers who had a whole different type of flow. And he said, man, this is going to make a lot of money and a lot of sell a lot of records. Because people ain't heard it before, but they want to hear it. He was like, all you need is the stage, and everybody's going to follow. He saw the vision of what Bone was going to be. He saw the vision of what all that Midwest rap, all the different styles, like stuff like what Nelly was doing at the time. All of that stuff was going to turn, and he was ahead of the curve. Eazy was ahead of it because he had an eye and a talent for, as a businessman, as to knowing the trend and knowing what's going to be hot and what's going to be the next thing. You know, Eazy was not going to attack Dr. Dre. Neither was Ren. Everything was cool. They was talking about getting everybody back together to do an NWA album, and he was gonna do it with Ice Cube, Ren, and Dre. I mean, not with Dre. It was gonna be Ice Cube, Ren, Yella, and Eazy, and they were gonna cut out Dre, and that was it. And Ren wasn't with doing another NWA album without everybody. It just didn't make sense to him to see that happen. And you could see that from Ren's perspective, because Ren was caught in the middle. But Ren was in a situation where he was good. His project was going to come out no matter what. And Ren was going through a lot of stuff at that time. He had a sexual assault, like his second one. He was going back and forth to jail, and you know, the lawyers then took care of his case. You know, and Ren's a loyal dude, man. You know, it's like he was going through it at the time. And then he was kind of mad at Dre too. You know, because Kim and Q was his best friend, Ice Cube. Then he felt like, man, well, Q kind of stabbed me in the back and left. You know, he just forget a brother. So now he's confused because his project got left in limbo. His EP dropped, which was amazing. That EP from Ren, that You Can Kiss My Block, that EP was epic. Anybody had that EP, you know what I'm talking about. Epic. Now, Ren drops that EP. Dre is supposed to finish the songs with on Life Sentence. Life Sentence got destroyed. The whole album just got scratched. All the songs with Dre and all them that they had from Dre, they just threw it away. Because they weren't going to risk putting it out with all I'm tired. All the legal aspects of what was going on at the time. They couldn't afford to put out that album. So they destroyed Life Sentence. So Ren is like, man, my album didn't come out. The company's in disarray. You know, Dre's gone. We got to try to really rebuild and get stronger and go from there. So Ren makes a whole new album after going through basically a whole different life change in '93. After taking a year to get himself spiritually correct and going to the mosque, and he was becoming a Muslim, and his teachings and his mind state and what he's eating, he was entirely different now. And that's when he had the shock of the hour. And that was really Ren's first solo album. But on that, you know, he's talking about Snoop and how the attitude was, and you know, it's a longer story than what people know. We'll get into that later. But to focus more on Eazy and Dre, that's what led to a lot of turmoil between the two, because it damaged a relationship and it damaged the company. Because he was the executive producer, he was the one that produces the beats and the tracks, and when he started swaying, because he wasn't feeling he was getting the kind of money that Eazy was getting, and like, where's his money and why Eazy getting rich? That happens. But look at it. Everybody who thought Eazy was the crook, Eazy ripped off everybody. They all left Eazy, and they all did the same things. They did the same acts to everybody that was under them. Ice Cube has been accused by everybody he has rapped with of ripping them off. Cube done ripped me off. They can't stand Cube. Mac 10 can't stand Cube. Man, Cube done robbed us. Cube did this and that. He done did this. He shiesty. Cube did that. He stole my hook. Dr. Dre. Dre, man, we made the beat. He took all the money and put all the executive producer credits. Other people making the beats, and we got to put Dre name on it to sound it. Sell it. We wrote all Dre songs. He stole them. Dre took all the money, and we didn't get a dime. The same acts. So, you know, Dre made peace with Eazy on his deathbed. You know, and that's about it, man. But that's how it all started. That's what how it all ended, man. And I'm just glad that the families and everybody is still back cool, because that was one of the most, we'll never have done as epic as that again. They changed the game for West Coast rap. People got deals because of NWA that never would have had an album out. South Central Cartel would have never made an album or had a rap video out if it wasn't for NWA. You wouldn't have heard of half of these groups that came out and got deals if it wasn't for NWA. They changed the spectrum, even on the East Coast. It had gotten to the point where they were everywhere, because people was like, oh, you could say that? You know, and that's what people misunderstand about NWA, is that it wasn't just a bunch of people cursing just to be cursing. Every song on there, it was a point. You know, whether it was F the Police, it was all these different songs and different scenarios that related to the streets that people weren't really rapping about. You know, you got to hear it a lot, and then they put their city on the map. Just like anybody on the East Coast, I'm from Queens, I'm from Long Island, you know, and Brooklyn's in the house. They was like Compton, and Compton was put on the map as a place you didn't play around with. It was the most dangerous place in the world, Compton, California. It was bigger than LA. And for that, I will always remember Eazy E, and I hated the fact that him and Dre had to go at it. I'm a huge NWA fan. And what's that? Niggas for Life album is in the top 20 greatest rap albums of all time. Period. Still to this day. And I'm out.